Hey guys, what's going on? So today is a workout walkthrough. It's a at-home push workout, and I've managed to put a few exercises together, and I'm able to hit the muscle groups that I prefer to keep and make sure that I don't lose my muscle mass. I've actually in this quarantine, it's been like around a month and a half, 7 weeks now, and I've actually lost around 5 to 6 pounds of body weight. If I had to estimate, it's 50% muscle and 50% fat. But I'm looking a little lean. I'll take that, and give or take another month, the gyms should be open. But I'm doing what I can, and it's a little space on my rooftop. You are gonna need a pair of dumbbells and resistance bands for this specific workout. But I usually take my pre-workout and creatine around 10 minutes before I warm up, start my exercise. So yeah, here's my rooftop. You got a few dumbbells over here, adjustable. You are gonna need those. I ended up borrowing these from a friend, and those resistance bands are, I luckily had those. I know we've ran out. I know they're short on stock on Amazon. All right, so I start my workout with it is a upper body push day, but I would like warming up. Entire body gets the blood going with a set of lunges. I'll do high reps, anywhere from 20, 30, 40 steps, and just get the blood going. After that, you are going to need 2 chairs. Use the chairs that you're not afraid to get dirty, or even if they break, you will be fine without them. But want to keep those chairs in that manner and get that incline chest going. My first set, I usually don't go heavy. I just do a lot of pause reps. I pause on top, pause on bottom. Really trying to squeeze the muscle. Again, this is not a working set. Technically, I would just go 20, 25 reps each side, and I will use this specific technique where one side is being contracted and the other side just puts extra tension onto the muscle. And one thing I've managed to do for a very long time is time my rest. I started working out around almost close to 4 years now. Hypertrophy, strength, building muscle, and I've almost from the beginning, I would imagine that I've managed to time my rests, and it really helps strength, hypertrophy, endurance. Time your rest kind of keeps you in check. So you are gonna need to set up these chairs in this specific manner. And I have to say that one of my biggest, if I should say, challenges during this times have been just adjustment, man. Just constant. Obviously, this is not your traditional bench, right? I'm trying to hit incline, so I just sort of came up with this 2-chair thing, and it's sort of a lot of times the chair that you're sitting on, it slips away, and then you just have to really make sure your feet are grounded into the ground, and your hips are tight, and your core is tight, and your scapula and your neck is going to hang out of the chair, and which is, you just sort of have to work around it. But squeezing the upper chest, this becomes a challenge because your shoulders are not tucked in, if that makes any sense. But both of these dumbbells, when heaviest adjusted, turn up to be 45 pounds each, which is 20 kilograms. And I personally wouldn't go heavier than that on this type of setup. I do have to tell you that this specific setup is not safe at all. If you're going to try it out, just make sure you're taking precautions. And one of my biggest challenges, I would say the most frustrating thing about these dumbbells have been this adjustment. Constantly, moving from one set to the other. You're just constantly trying to adjust, and it takes a lot of time. I end up resting more than I'm supposed to. But anyways, this is the heaviest these dumbbells get, and as you see, my neck is hanging. It's not resting on the bench, which puts the spine at a not the most optimal position. If I went any heavier than this, I would end up like hurting something or pinching a nerve or whatnot. So I'm good. I'm good with this. No. Next exercise is a dumbbell shoulder press. And this is a I would say Arnold presses. With Arnold presses, he comes down all the way and twists the dumbbells in a supinated grip. But I'm doing that like 30-40%. In this specific exercise, your front delts are going to be involved like 70-80%, regardless of how far you flare your elbows out. So I do this for my front delts mainly, and if you notice, I'm pausing on bottom and on top, which every time I use free weights, I pause on bottom and on top, and I just learned over the years that it's not always about pushing heavy weight, from point A to point B. It's actually working the muscle, and you could do that. I'm able to do that more effectively with much lighter weights, where mind muscle connection, and I'm able to actually tear down my muscle fibers with specific and slow movements. But anyhow, the pausing strengthens my joints, I've noticed, and it allows me to, when it's time for strength training, when it's time to push that heavy weight for like 4 or 5 reps, it really takes it to the next level. But my hypertrophy is like my 85% focus, where on the other 15% is strength. Next exercise is going to be a cable flies, or here is resistance bands flies. And I've managed to move a few things up here on my rooftop, and I'm gonna hook one resistance band, this red one, over here, and then the other blue one, I'm going to take it on this ladder. The reason I'm putting these on the bottom is because it allows, when I bring the bands together, when I bring the handles together, it actually puts more emphasis on my upper chest, which is what I want. I'd like my upper chest to be bigger than my lower chest. I think the term for that is a swimmer's chest, where your shoulders and upper chest is bigger. And I personally like that look for myself, rather than the other look. But anyways, this specific exercise, it's more higher reps, so 15 plus reps, and I'm almost always going 15 plus reps with this exercise, moving over hypertrophy and close to endurance. I feel like it works well for my body, and it really brings the blood into the muscle, front deltoids, and my upper chest, and I get a good pump. I typically leave this exercise during towards the end of my chest push. If you do notice, I am pausing and really trying to squeeze that chest, really trying to squeeze that muscle, and as I reach failure, I would just rep it out. My body and my hamstrings, glutes are squeezed, my feet are being pushed into the ground, and I'm trying to keep my core tight, which really stabilizes the lower body and provides more effort to be done toward the upper body. All right, so next exercise is the dumbbell lateral raise. Now, technically, this is a pull exercise, but currently I'm doing this exercise 3 to 4 times a week, which is almost all of my workouts. It's because I'm really trying to grow my side delts, and this exercise I will always take it 15 plus reps, just like the cable flies. I like around 70-80% of the time I'm doing this exercise standing, but you could always sit down, and it actually emphasizes on the side delts even more. if you want to look at the step-by-step, look at the form and the technique in more detail, I'm gonna link the video in the description, and you can check that out. I talk about this exercise in more detail. One thing I realized with this whole quarantine thing is that when the gyms were taken away, and it was the first week, if I should say, was a surprise, and I was in a shock, and it was just, one of those unrealistic things that happen, and you just don't accept it. You're like, man, it just doesn't even feel like it's real. I was in that state. But then once I got over that state, I started to make up exercises. Okay, I'm like, oh, okay, I can put that and I can do that, and obviously this one, I didn't make this exercise up. I saw it, so it's chair dips, but you'll be surprised how much you need a little bit of creativity, and you'll be able to come up with stuff. My floor on my rooftop it's uneven. So I really want to be careful with all four legs of the chair are just sitting on the roof. And if you notice here, the right one is a little wobbly. So I really have to grip the chair to make sure they don't slide underneath me. The other exercise for triceps here is a tricep pushdown. And I grab one cable, and as you've seen, I'm pausing on the bottom, really trying to squeeze that long head of the tricep. Again, one of my own personal goals. And you slightly want to bend forward, keep your core tight, and engage your hamstrings if you can, if they're activated, and just try to keep the lower body as stable as possible. Develop mind-muscle connection, and really get that blood going into the long head of the tricep, which, in my opinion, responds best to high reps. So tricep, after this is calf raises, just using the ladder on my rooftop. All of this was I just sort of stumbled upon it, and I was like, I can use this. So I grab a resistance band and put it around my shoulders, which creates resistance. And I use my hands for stability. And as I reach failure, I would actually pull myself up to use to quote unquote cheat. And it just takes the calves to failure. I do 4 sets of this and high reps again, more towards endurance, which again, for my body, works the best for as far as muscle teardown and growth goes. I am pausing on top and on bottom for around half a second-ish, and really contracting the calves on top and getting a stretch on the bottom. My knees are unlocked. I am not locking my knees because that if I lock my knees, it engages the hamstrings, even glutes, which is what I don't want. I just want to put emphasis on my calves here, so I would keep my knees unlocked the entire time. Alright, so our last exercise, I'm going to grab 2 resistance bands. And I was actually managed to drill these into hooks below my shoulder level, and the height is perfect, actually. I try to do my rear delts again almost every workout, because posture is a priority of mine. And 2 sets I would do rear delt, and the other 2 sets I would try to hit my rear delts and lower traps, switching the grips, and the how high your elbows are can target different areas of your back. It's the same muscle, but once you supinate, pronate your grip, or take your elbows higher or lower, rotation, no rotation, it can actually target different areas in your back. And you'd be surprised how much. I think back, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I think back has 26 muscles, 13 on each side, where chest only has 4, right? So, there's a lot more stuff you can do with the back, and different angles, and, the different grips just targets different areas of the back. Anyhow, here my grip is neutral. It targets a lot more of the rear delts here, yeah. But if I drive my arms, elbows back, take them far, it'll engage my lower traps. You want to keep your core engaged here, squeeze your glutes for, again, lower body stability. And as you see here, this one is rotting away because it actually broke from this end. I ended up pulling it too hard. And I kept the souvenir, didn't want to throw it away, right over there. Look at that. Yeah, I kept that, just making sure, yeah. A reminder, don't pull it too hard. Yeah, man. So this sort of concludes our at-home workout. If you want, I hope you got some tips and some encouragement, if not, to keep pushing, maintain your muscle mass, and if you can always grow it at time under tension. But until the gym's open, this is what I'm doing. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.